down.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So it's Friday. So like I promised, I know I didn't do it last week, but Friday is going to be our gun related videos. So not everything is going to be all about guns. We're going to keep it fairly tactical related, but it's going to be themed around guns. So with that being said, you probably already know this from the thumbnail of the video, but this week we're going to talk about gun upgrades and gun parts for less than $35. $35 is usually a pretty good price range, as far as it's not too much to go out and spend. You can save $35, you know, go out a couple times a week, don't eat out that week or whatever the case is. But these are just minor things that I think some people overlook on some of these. And like I said, they're fairly inexpensive, very easy to find, and they make a pretty big difference on your gun in general. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was a slide stop lever. Now, the guns that I'm going to be showing you guys do have magazines inserted. There are rounds in the magazines, but there is no rounds in the chamber. So they've already been checked. They've already been, you know, safety checked, all that kind of stuff. We're going to be responsible in handling all these guns, but I just wanted to put that out there because I know somebody's going to comment, or somebody may be thinking, you know, why is he moving that gun around a lot? And there's a magazine in there. Is it loaded? And this and that. So the magazine is inserted. There are rounds in the magazine, no round in the chamber. So back to what I was saying, the slide stop lever. So the slide stop lever is actually this piece right here. So you can see on this is a Glock 27, this is a Gen 3. This is my backup gun when I'm working. So this is the slide stop lever right here. I'm gonna remove the magazine for this, just to ensure that we don't chamber around. But when you pull your slide back like that, this little piece right here, it's harder to do it that way, but that little piece right there is what catches the slide. So this slide stop lever is just a little bit wider. It kicks out a little bit farther. If you look at the gun right there, you can see where my finger is. There's a small gap between the slide stop lever and the slide where it pushes it out, to where on a normal gun, you have something like this, and it's a lot harder to see. Well, my red dot's kind of in the way. It's here, but it's a lot harder to see it because that one has a normal slide stop lever on it. So that one needs to get the internals upgraded. This one already has it. You can find these on a Glock store. You can find them on eBay, and they're very inexpensive. These you're looking at somewhere between $10 and $15 is usually pretty average. I got the whole stainless steel kit for this, so I had the 2 pins, the takedown lever here, and the slide stop lever here, and also the pin back here in the back. And I think for the kit, I paid somewhere around maybe $30 for all the parts. So very inexpensive. Why would you need that? Well, when it's hot, you're sweaty, your hands are wet, if you're bleeding, whatever the case is, it's a little bit easier to manipulate this gun. It's a little bit easier to find that slide stop when you're reloading. You throw that next magazine in there and you just tap it, and it flies, you know, your slide flies forward and you're ready to go. You're ready to get back in that fight. So like I said, that piece right there, if you guys know anything about like combat training, or if you've done any kind of combat training, if you're law enforcement, military, whatever, one of the things that they talk about is your gross motor skills. Your gross motor skills are limited when you're in a high stress situation. So this kind of combats that and helps you in those stressful situations when you're sitting there looking for that slide stop and you're trying to kick that slide back forward to get that next magazine in. Obviously on that last round, this is what you're gonna end up with. So you have to reload and get this gun back in the fight as quick as possible. So you wanna be able to just slide your thumb down, kick that slide forward, and get going. So like I said, that's number 1 on the list for me, is the slide catch, or the slide stop lever, I'm sorry. The next one that's on the list, and all 3 of the guns that I'm gonna be showing today all have an upgraded mag release. This is the ZevTech. This is the Gen 3. It's the teardrop. This is what I'm talking about right here. And if you look at the side of the gun, you can see how far that thing kicks out. And at first, I was a little bit unsure because I was like, man, this thing is huge. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I love this thing. So easy to find that magazine catch, or that magazine release, and just drop that magazine. Again, gross motor skills are gonna be limited, so you wanna be able to drop that magazine, that empty magazine, as soon as you're out. My Glock 43 that I've shown in other videos has an upgraded magazine release. This one isn't out as far, but it does kick out. You can see it there. It's a little bit more square, like I said, it does kick out. It's got a better grip on it. This one is through Hive Technologies. So you can check out Hive Technologies, check those products out. On my Glock 17, this is another Zev Technologies, like I have on the 27, but this is for the Gen 4 models. So this one is a lot more similar to the one that's on my 43, the Hive Technologies. Very square, very easy to find, and very well textured. So depending on the brand that you're looking at for that, it's gonna range. You can usually find them for anywhere between $25 and $30. Like I said, I have Hive Technologies, I have Zev Technologies. You can go through the Glock store, you can go on Amazon, you can go on eBay. Very, very simple find, very inexpensive, and again, it's gonna help you in those situations. The next thing is, and all three of these guns have this, is the Talon Grips. So if you look right there, a lot of people look at my guns and they ask me where I got my guns stippled at. I have not got any of my guns stippled yet. I don't know that I want to pay that much for a stipple job, and you can pay upwards of hundreds of dollars for some of these stipple jobs. And I've contemplated doing it myself. My biggest issue is I paid good money for these guns, and if you look at my guns, you know, they're fairly upgraded and I have money invested in them. I don't know that I want to mess them up. So I haven't found a gun that I want to practice on yet. So for now, I go with these Talon Grips, and you're looking at $15 to $20. If you guys have watched my old videos showing my Glock 43, the very first Talon Grip that I ever bought was the sandpaper texture, and I actually have an arachnid grip that is sandpaper texture on top of this gun. But that's what I had on this gun, and when I was holding and shooting, it worked amazing. So I have nothing negative to say as far as that goes. My only issue was I appendix carry, so where I would slide this gun in and out, as this gun rubbed up against me or rubbed against my clothing, it caught everything. So it frayed my shirts, it scratched my stomach. It was very well textured, but in my personal opinion, it was over textured. So these rubberized ones work perfect. Fit great in your hand. When your hands get a little bit wet or moist or whatever, to me, I feel like these grips get a little sticky, and it makes it hold so much better. And like I said, my 43 has that, my 27 also has that, and my 17 has it. Very simple, very easy to put on. It's just, if you can put a sticker on something, you can put a Talon Grip on, and they last. I haven't had one come off yet. I think the longest one I've been running was the one on my Glock 43 when I had the sandpaper one, and it's the same 3M sticky material on the back. And I ran that for about, I would say about 2 years before I took it off, because it wasn't coming off, it wasn't peeling at all. And then, excuse me, I took it off and I upgraded to the rubberized one. The next thing I want to talk about, and you guys have probably seen on here, or you know, now or in my other videos, are these Taran tactical magazine extensions. Now, these can get a little pricey depending on which ones you buy. They have different color variations, different gun size variations. Some of these will go up to about $40, and I know I'm saying $35, but you don't have to buy, you know, this big +5, +6 for a 9mm. You can buy, you know, I have +3s, I have +2s, I have +1s, I have a bunch of different ones that you can get to increase your capacity and still pay around $30, $32 is usually pretty average for them. And again, you can find them on Amazon, you can find them on eBay, multiple websites that have these. Now, another one that I have not ran, but I've heard really good things about is Barracuda Tactical. I've seen a bunch of them on YouTube, I've seen a bunch of them online. I have one buddy that does run them, and he's told me great things about them. I just haven't bought any personally. I'm the type of person, if I find something and it works, I don't change it. So I started off with Taran Tacticals. I'm stuck on Taran Tacticals. I've had no feeding issues with these. They come with a spring, which I love. So that's what I run. Now, the other thing that I did want to bring up, I'm not here to bash any companies or talk down on anything or anyone. However, I did buy some magazine extensions that were 3D printed from Cane Arms, and for me personally, I did not like them. They advertised, I think it was a +5 or +6, something like that, for a 9mm, and I bought them for my Glock 17, trying to go a little more inexpensive. If you guys see my videos, you know that if I can save money, I will, as long as it's a good product. And I bought these Cane Arm ones thinking, okay, this is gonna be awesome, and I paid next to nothing for them. and I got them in, and I was able to get 2, maybe 3 extra rounds in it instead of the plus 5 or 6 that it advertised. And then it's just the base plate. It doesn't come with an extra spring. It doesn't have a stronger spring, which I was a little leery of, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna try them out. And I went to the range, and the very first time that I took my Glock 17 out to the range, I ran those, and I did not enjoy shooting it. I was so excited about this gun, so hyped up about this gun, like this is gonna be awesome. And I couldn't get excited about it because I had so many failed feeds and so many jams and double feeds, and I ended up changing everything up, and come to find out the issue was, you know, the mag extensions. Another thing that I've seen, I bought mag extensions for my brother-in-law, and my brother-in-law, I don't know what he was doing exactly, but I know he dropped the magazine, so what ended up happening was the magazine fell flat this way. And now Hive Technologies, I do run their Monarch trigger on my Glock 43, and like I said, I do have their mag extension, and I have their slide plate. Those things I've had no issues with, but like I said, the mag extension that he runs, he dropped it. And again, those Hive Technologies don't come with an extra spring, so you're running your stock spring inside of that magazine, and when it fell, with your rounds in here, your magazine is compressed down here at the bottom. When it fell, something happened and it rotated that spring down in the bottom, and it stuck down there, and I think it got caught on this bottom lip down here. So when it got caught down here on this bottom lip, what ended up happening was all these rounds up here no longer had that pressure on them, and he was able to turn his magazine upside down, and it dumped all the rounds out of that magazine. So I mean, he's been able to do that and demonstrate that a couple of different times. I guess recreate that a couple different times. It's not something that happens all the time. I mean, it has to hit almost perfect flat on the ground. But for me personally, if there's a likelihood, if there's a chance of it messing up, I'd rather just not run that. Like I said, Taran Tacticals, I've thrown these, I've beat these up, and maybe later I'll do like a what is it called? Like a torture test kind of deal with these magazines. But like I said, I've had no issues with these. I run these on most of my guns. Now, the second thing you can do, depending on what gun you have, you can just buy different magazines. This Glock 27 is running a Glock 23 magazine in it. So, I mean, I could go out and buy a magazine extension, do all that kind of stuff. And I do have magazine extensions for these. I think they're the Pierce Grips +2s. But I already have Glock 23 magazines. So I throw a Glock 23 magazine in there. And this is not necessarily what I carry. When I conceal it, I will put a shorter magazine. And this ends up being a backup. And I either carry a Glock 23 or Glock 22 magazine as my backup, since it's a smaller compact gun. But you can also do that if you have a gun like this one, where there's a bigger version of it. If you have the 26, you know, you can go out and buy 19 or 17 mags and just use those as your backup instead of buying mag extensions. And if you have those other guns, of course, you can use them in everything. So that's what I recommend. The last thing that I want to talk about, I'm not going to take these guns apart, is the Ghost 3.5 pound trigger connect. Now, my Glock 43 has a Ghost trigger connect in it, and my Glock 27 has a trigger connect in it. You can feel the difference when you put this trigger connect in there. I want to say the trigger connect is about $23, somewhere around there, $25, depending on where you get it. But it shortens that trigger pull, makes that trigger a little bit lighter. You don't want your trigger to be too light on your concealed carry pistol, but it does make it to where you don't have that extra play in there. Now, on my Glock 17, I do have a trigger connect in this thing, but this one has the Zev tactical trigger connect in there. Now, to be 100% honest with you guys, I really can't tell the difference between the trigger connect in this and the trigger connect in this. So the Ghost and the Zev, honestly, I don't know the difference. I can't feel the difference. I can feel that it's lighter than stock, which I guess is a plus. But as far as these two, I mean, I think it might just be a name thing. That's just my personal opinion. It's just too little of a difference for me to feel, you know, that little difference there. Now, what I also have on both of these guns, in addition to the trigger connect, is upgraded triggers. Like I said, over here, this is my Glock 43, and I run the Monarch, the Hive Technologies trigger in there. And then on this one, this is the CMC Glock trigger, the flat trigger. I love them. Now, those are my 5 things that you can get for under $35 gun upgrades. Now, what I want you guys to understand is you're not going to go out and buy these things and then automatically become the best shooter. You're not gonna be John Wick overnight. It's just not gonna happen. However, when you buy these things and you start practicing more, it's just gonna make you that much more proficient. It's gonna make it that much easier to find that mag release, or to find that slide catch, or to have a couple extra rounds whenever you're going out and shooting, or to grip your gun better. And that's what you need. You need these basic things in order to become a better shooter. And the more you practice, the better you're gonna be. So as a bonus, and this is just my opinion, the best thing that you can buy for your gun is ammunition. Go out, buy ammunition, and shoot your gun. Don't be one of these guys that buys a gun and leaves it in their safe and says, you know what, I'll shoot it when I need it. Because when it comes time and you actually need that gun, you're just not gonna be proficient with it. So something to keep in mind, go out there, shoot that gun. These are just 5 things that I think, for me personally, have increased my shooting abilities, have made it that much easier for me to go out and shoot. And like I said, they're very inexpensive. You can buy, one at a time. When I first started upgrading my Glocks, that's what I did. I started off with these small, inexpensive things, mag releases, slide catches, mag extensions, little things like that. And then over time, I worked up to the bigger items. And that's gonna be another video. That might be kind of a part 2 to this. We'll talk about upgrades to your guns that are gonna be a little bit more expensive, but things that I feel will help you. And if you look at my Glock 17, you can see some of those things. Lights, triggers, red dots, compensators, stuff like that. So all these things, with the exception of that compensator, are gonna put you into the hundreds of dollar range. They're all around the, under the $200 mark. But like I said, they are a little bit more expensive. Some people don't want to spend that much more money upgrading a gun. They rather just go out and buy another gun. And to each their own, it is what it is. But I like to upgrade my guns. I like to get my guns where I'm comfortable with them, to where I'm proficient with them. And that it is what it is for me. So like I said, guys, if you have any questions, comment down below. Again, slide stop lever, that's number 1 on the list. Number 2 on the list is the mag release. Number 3 on the list is the Talon Grips. Number 4 on the list is the Taran Tactical mag extensions. And then again, number 5 on the list is Ghost, the 3.5 pound trigger connector. Like I said, there's also other companies out there. Just look up these items and see what you like, see what brands you like, whatever the case is. But just know that the ones that I listed by name are ones that I have, I've used, and that I'm very confident in, and those are the ones that I recommend. So hope you guys enjoy this video. Like I said, it is Friday, so this is when we talk about guns. Next Friday, we will have another video talking about guns. If you have any suggestions on what you want me to talk about, or just questions, again, comment down below. Like this video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If you are subscribed, thank you very much, and we'll see you guys on the next one.